I'm proud of you, Oda Mae.
You know something, Sam? I don't care if you're proud of me. You stay away from me from now on. What is that nut gonna do with it? She can't even buy underwear, nothing. I hate you. Leave me alone. Never talk to me again.
Have you ever watched an award show or movie casting and felt like something just didn't add up? Like a powerful performance got overlooked, or a role seemed handed to someone else who didn't quite measure up? You're not alone. From legendary icons to rising stars, here are 20 black actors who were robbed by their white counterparts. 1. Dorothy Dandridge.
I love you, and that gives me the
I
right
don't give you
to...
no right to own me. There's only one that does. That's me, myself.
Dorothy Dandridge made history in ways that should have led to even bigger moments. Back in 1954, she became the very first black woman to get nominated for Best Actress at the Academy Awards. Her role in Carmen Jones was nothing short of amazing. She brought grace, talent, and pure star power to the screen in a way that left audiences speechless. The performance was groundbreaking. Dandridge sang, acted, and commanded every scene she was in. Her portrayal of Carmen was both fierce and vulnerable. She made the character come alive in ways that few actors could manage. The role required her to be strong, passionate, and completely believable as a woman who could make men fall head over heels for her. But when Oscar night came around, she didn't win. The award went to Grace Kelly for The Country Girl instead. It would take 47 more years before another black woman, Halle Berry, would win in that same category. That's nearly half a century of waiting. Dorothy opened a door that should have stayed wide open, but instead it seemed to close right behind her. Her career was filled with other strong performances too. She appeared in movies like Island in the Sun and Porgy and Bess. Each time she brought the same level of skill and beauty to her roles. Yet the industry didn't seem ready to fully embrace what she had to offer. She faced barriers that white actresses of her time simply didn't have to deal with. 2. Samuel Leroy Jackson.
What does Marcellus Wallace look like?
What?
What country you from?
What?
What ain't no country I ever heard of?
Samuel Leroy Jackson's performance in Pulp Fiction was the kind that makes people remember exactly where they were when they first saw it. His character Jules Winfield became instantly iconic. The way he delivered those famous lines, the intensity he brought to every scene, and his perfect chemistry with John Travolta created movie magic. When the Oscar nominations came out, something interesting happened. As they read his name for Best Supporting Actor, he was the only nominee who got cheers from the crowd. People knew they were looking at something special. His performance had that rare combination of being both terrifying and somehow likable at the same time. But he lost to Martin Landau for playing Bela Lugosi in Ed Wood. Now, Landau did a good job, but many people felt like he won because it was simply his time rather than for that specific performance. It seemed like the Academy was giving him a Lifetime Achievement Award disguised as a regular Oscar. Jackson himself spoke about this later. He said he didn't realize it was supposed to work that way, where you get nominated a few times and then automatically get one. He thought it should be about which performance had the biggest impact. His Jules Winfield certainly left a mark on cinema that's still felt today. 3. Morgan Freeman.
We are in a state of emergency, and my word is law. There's only one boss in this place, and that's me.
Morgan Freeman has one of the most recognizable voices in all of entertainment. His acting is just as memorable. In 1994, he gave an outstanding performance in The Shawshank Redemption as Red, the wise prison inmate who becomes Andy Dufresne's closest friend. The movie itself was nominated for 7 Academy Awards that year. It was clearly something special, the kind of film that stays with you long after you leave the theater. Freeman's performance was a huge part of what made it work so well. He brought warmth, humor, and deep humanity to a character who could have easily been just another tough guy prisoner. His Red was the heart of the story. He guided both Andy and the audience through the harsh realities of prison life while never losing his essential goodness. Freeman made it look easy, which is often the sign of truly great acting. He created a character that felt completely real and relatable. But when Oscar night arrived, The Shawshank Redemption lost in every single category it was nominated for. Freeman went home empty-handed, along with the rest of the cast and crew. This seems almost impossible now, given how beloved the movie has become over the years. Freeman has been nominated for Oscars 5 times in his career, but he's only won once, for Million Dollar Baby in 2005. That's a surprisingly low number for someone with his level of talent and the respect he commands in Hollywood. His body of work speaks for itself, but the awards don't quite match up. 4. Denzel Washington.
So I have to stand here today as what I was when I was born, a black man.
Denzel Washington has won Oscars, which is great, but there's one performance that stands out as being overlooked in a way that still doesn't make sense. His portrayal of Malcolm X in Spike Lee's 1992 film was nothing short of extraordinary. The transformation was complete. Denzel didn't just play Malcolm X, he became him. The physical resemblance was striking, but it went much deeper than that. He captured the leader's speaking style, his passion, his evolution from street hustler to religious convert to civil rights icon. The performance covered Malcolm's entire journey over the course of a 3.5-hour movie. Denzel had to master Malcolm's distinctive way of speaking. He had to show the character's growth and change over many years. He had to make the audience believe they were watching the real Malcolm X give those famous speeches. The level of preparation and skill required was enormous. That year, Al Pacino won Best Actor for Scent of a Woman. Pacino's performance was certainly energetic, with lots of shouting and his famous hoo-ah. But compared to the depth and complexity of what Denzel accomplished with Malcolm X, it seemed like a much less challenging role. Many people felt this was one of the clearest cases of a deserving performance being passed over. Denzel's Malcolm X wasn't just great acting, it was a cultural moment. The film helped introduce Malcolm's story to a new generation and gave audiences a nuanced look at a complex historical figure. 5. James Earl Jones.
Are you the Black Hope?
I'm black and I'm hoping.
Any idea, Jack, why you smile when you're fighting?
I'm a happy sort of person and it always feels good, huh?
James Earl Jones was known worldwide for his incredible voice. He was Darth Vader and Mufasa after all. But his acting on screen deserved just as much recognition. Despite decades of powerful performances, he never won an Academy Award. One of his most notable overlooked performances was in The Great White Hope, both on Broadway and in the 1970 film version. He played Jack Jefferson, a character based on boxer Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion. Jones brought tremendous power and dignity to the role. The character faced racism and persecution for his success and his relationships. Jones had to show both the fighter's strength and his vulnerability. He made audiences feel the weight of being a black man trying to succeed in a hostile world. The performance required both physical and emotional intensity. Jones was nominated for an Oscar just once in his entire career for The Great White Hope. That seems like far too few nominations for someone with his range and talent. He worked steadily for decades, always bringing professionalism and skill to every role. His voice work alone made him a legend, but his on-screen acting deserved equal praise. He appeared in everything from serious dramas to comedies, always elevating whatever project he was part of. The lack of Oscar recognition feels like a significant oversight. 6. Lawrence Fishburne.
What's wrong with you? Talking to me like that? Huh? What'd you say?
Don't start with me. I ain't in the mood today, all right?
Oh, you ain't in the mood?
Lawrence Fishburne gave a powerful performance in What's Love Got to Do with It, playing Ike Turner opposite Angela Bassett's Tina Turner. The role required him to portray a character who was both charismatic and deeply flawed, someone who could be charming one moment and abusive the next. Fishburne didn't shy away from showing Ike's darker sides. He made the character complex rather than simply evil. This took considerable skill, as it would have been easy to make Ike a one-dimensional villain. Instead, Fishburne created a full human being, which made the story more powerful and realistic. The performance required him to sing, dance, and show the full range of human emotions. He had to make audiences understand how someone could be drawn to Ike, while also showing why that same person would eventually need to escape from him. That's a difficult balance to strike. Despite the strength of his work, Fishburne lost the Oscar to Tom Hanks for Philadelphia. Hanks certainly gave a moving performance as a man dying of AIDS, but many felt that Fishburne's complex portrayal of Ike Turner was equally deserving of recognition. Fishburne has been a consistently strong actor throughout his career, from his early work in Apocalypse Now to his later roles in the Matrix trilogy. His range and reliability as a performer make the lack of Oscar wins feel like another missed opportunity by the Academy. 7. John Singleton.
And then listening to NWA and ACE's album, and I said, I'm going to make this movie. It's going to be called Boys in the Hood.
John Singleton made history in 1992 when he became the first black director ever nominated for Best Director at the Academy Awards. He was nominated for Boys and the Hood, a powerful film about young black men growing up in South Central Los Angeles. The movie was groundbreaking in many ways. It showed a part of America that mainstream cinema had largely ignored. Singleton brought authenticity to the story because he had grown up in the same neighborhood where he filmed. He understood these characters and their struggles in a way that few other directors could have. Boys and the Hood was both entertaining and educational. It showed the challenges facing young people in tough neighborhoods while never talking down to its audience. The film had real impact. It started conversations and made people think about issues they might not have considered before. Despite the nomination, Singleton didn't win Best Director. The film also wasn't nominated for Best Picture, which seemed strange given how much attention and praise it received. It felt like the Academy was willing to acknowledge the film to some degree, but not fully embrace what it represented. Singleton was only 24 years old when he made Boys and the Hood, making him the youngest person ever nominated for Best Director at that time. The fact that he accomplished so much at such a young age made his overlooked status even more notable. He proved that fresh voices could create powerful cinema. 8. Gabriel Sidibe.
Put off the welfare from running your goddamn stupid ass mouth. I ain't stupid. I ain't take your man. Your husband raped.
Gabriel Sidibe burst onto the scene with her performance in Precious in 2009. For her very first film role, she delivered acting that was raw, honest, and completely convincing. Playing the title character required her to show incredible emotional range and vulnerability. The role of Precious was not an easy one. The character endured abuse, poverty, and discrimination. Sidibe had to make audiences feel every bit of pain while also showing Precious's strength and determination to build a better life. She made viewers care deeply about someone they might otherwise overlook. What made the performance even more remarkable was that Sidibe had never acted professionally before. She brought a naturalness to the role that trained actors sometimes struggle to achieve. Her Precious felt completely real, not like someone performing, but like someone living their truth on screen. The film tackled difficult subjects that many movies avoid. Sidibe never flinched from showing the hardest parts of Precious's story. She balanced the character's suffering with moments of hope and humor. This took tremendous courage and skill for any actor, let alone someone in their first role. When Oscar night came, Sandra Bullock won Best Actress for The Blind Side. While Bullock did good work, many people felt that Sidibe's brave and powerful debut deserved the recognition. Her performance had the kind of impact that stays with audiences long after the credits roll. 9. Chadwick Boseman.
War is about money. Money is about war.
Chadwick Boseman's final performance in Da 5 Bloods showed once again why he was considered one of the finest actors of his generation. Playing Stormin' Norman, a soldier killed in Vietnam who appears in flashbacks and visions, Boseman brought both strength and sadness to the role. Even though it was a supporting part, Boseman made every moment count. His character represented the dreams and potential that were lost in the war. He had to show both the young man who went to fight and the spirit who continued to influence his surviving friends decades later. The performance was especially poignant because it came out after Boseman's death. Audiences knew they were watching one of his last pieces of work, which added extra weight to every scene he was in. He had been battling cancer while filming, but never let it show in his performance. Boseman had to work alongside veteran actors and hold his own in every scene. His chemistry with the rest of the cast made their shared history feel completely believable. He showed how war affects not just those who die, but also those who survive and carry the memories. Despite the critical praise and the emotional impact of watching one of his final roles, Boseman didn't receive an Oscar nomination for Da 5 Bloods. Many felt this was a significant oversight, especially given the quality of his work and what it meant to see him on screen one last time. 10. Quvenzhané Wallis.
Come on, Mark! Beat it! Beat it!
Quvenzhané Wallis was just 9 years old when she gave her stunning performance in Beasts of the Southern Wild. Her portrayal of Hush Puppy was unlike anything audiences had seen before, completely natural, deeply emotional, and surprisingly mature for such a young performer. The role required her to carry almost the entire movie. She had to show a child dealing with poverty, environmental disaster, and her father's illness. Wallis made Hush Puppy both tough and tender, showing how children can be incredibly resilient while still being vulnerable. What made her performance so special was how real it felt. She never seemed like a child actor trying to hit certain marks or deliver lines in a particular way. Instead, she just seemed to be living as Hush Puppy, reacting to everything around her in an honest, believable way. The film itself was a unique vision, part reality, part fantasy, all heart. Wallis had to navigate this unusual story while making audiences believe in both the realistic family drama and the more magical elements. She anchored everything with her natural presence. When the Oscar nominations were announced, Wallis became the youngest Best Actress nominee in Academy Awards history. This was a remarkable achievement that recognized both her talent and the impact of her performance. Many people expected her to win. Instead, the award went to Jennifer Lawrence for Silver Linings Playbook. While Lawrence gave a good performance, many felt that what Wallis accomplished at such a young age was more deserving of recognition. Her work in Beasts of the Southern Wild represented something truly special in cinema. 11. Sidney Poitier.
Let me tell you something. I owe you nothing. If you carried that bag 1,000,000 miles, you did what you were supposed to do.
Sidney Poitier made history when he became the first black man to win an Academy Award for Best Actor in 1964. His win for Lilies of the Field was a groundbreaking moment that opened doors for future generations. Later, in 2002, he received a Lifetime Achievement Award, bringing his total Oscar count to 2. But even 2 Oscars don't tell the full story of what Sidney deserved. One of the biggest oversights in Academy Awards history happened with his performance in the Heat of the Night. This 1967 film showcased Poitier at his absolute best, playing Detective Virgil Tibbs with a perfect blend of intelligence, dignity, and quiet strength. The character of Virgil Tibbs was clearly the main character of the story. He was the detective who solved the case, the man who faced down racism while maintaining his professionalism, and the heart of every important scene. Poitier made Tibbs both relatable and heroic without ever making him seem unrealistic or too perfect. What made this snub even more puzzling was that the Academy did nominate someone from the film for Best Actor, but it was Rod Steiger who played the supporting role of the local police chief. Steiger did fine work, but he was clearly the supporting character to Poitier's lead. The decision to nominate the white supporting actor while ignoring the black lead actor was hard to understand. The film dealt with serious issues about race relations in the American South. Poitier had to show a black man standing up for himself in hostile territory while never losing his cool or his commitment to justice. This required incredible skill and control as a performer. Every scene carried the weight of the social issues the movie was exploring. 12. Angela Bassett.
I'll give up all that other stuff, but only if I get to keep my name. I worked too hard for it. You're up.
Angela Bassett's performance as Tina Turner in What's Love Got to Do with It was the kind of acting that goes beyond simple imitation. She didn't just play Tina Turner, she became her completely. The transformation was so thorough that audiences forgot they were watching an actress and felt like they were seeing Tina's real-life story unfold. The role required Bassett to sing, dance, and show the full emotional journey of a woman escaping an abusive relationship to find her own voice. She had to master Tina's distinctive singing style and energetic stage presence. But more than that, she had to show the private pain behind the public persona. Bassett made every moment believable, from Tina's early days as a young singer to her emergence as a solo superstar. The physical transformation was remarkable. She looked like Tina, moved like her, and captured her spirit perfectly. The dancing and singing sequences were electric, full of the raw energy that made Tina Turner a legend. But the dramatic scenes were just as powerful. Bassett showed Tina's strength in the face of abuse, her determination to protect her children, and her courage in starting over when many people thought her career was finished. These quieter moments required just as much skill as the flashy performance scenes. Despite the incredible work she put into the role, Bassett didn't win the Oscar. She did win a Golden Globe, becoming the first African-American woman to win Best Actress at that ceremony. But the fact that it took until 1994 for any black woman to win that award shows how long the entertainment industry took to recognize black talent properly. 13. Spike Lee.
Gawab, Guinea, garlic bread, pizza slinging, spaghetti bending, Victimone, Perry Como, Luciano Pavarotti, solo meal, non-singer motherfucker.
Spike Lee has spent decades making important, innovative films that challenge audiences and tackle difficult subjects. Despite this impressive body of work, he has received surprisingly few Oscar nominations. He has only been nominated twice, and neither nomination was for directing, which seems almost impossible given his influence on cinema. One of those nominations was for Best Original Screenplay for Do the Right Thing in 1989. This film was a masterpiece of storytelling that examined race relations in Brooklyn with intelligence, humor, and unflinching honesty. The script was layered and complex, showing how small tensions can build into major conflicts. The movie felt urgent and important when it came out, and it still feels relevant today. Lee created characters that felt completely real, each with their own motivations and viewpoints. The dialogue was sharp and naturalistic, capturing how people actually talk in real-life situations rather than how they speak in typical Hollywood movies. Do the Right Thing should have been a lock for Best Picture that year. It was the kind of film that starts conversations and makes people think about important social issues. The cinematography was innovative, the performances were excellent, and the story was both entertaining and educational. Instead, the Best Picture award went to Driving Miss Daisy, a much gentler film about race relations that didn't challenge audiences nearly as much. The screenplay Oscar went to Dead Poets Society, a movie about privileged prep school students that seemed lightweight compared to Lee's powerful social commentary. 14. Octavia Spencer.
I was just thinking, why wait for the weekend? It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Octavia Spencer has proven herself to be one of the most talented actresses of her generation, but one of her best performances was completely ignored by the Academy. Her work in Fruitvale Station was powerful, heartbreaking, and absolutely deserved recognition. The film told the true story of Oscar Grant, a young black father who was killed by police officers in Oakland. Spencer played Oscar's mother, a woman dealing with the unthinkable tragedy of losing her son. The role required her to show grief, anger, and strength all at the same time. Spencer made the character feel completely real and relatable. She showed a mother's love, a mother's worry, and ultimately, a mother's devastating loss. Her scenes were emotionally raw without ever feeling manipulative or overdone. She found the truth in every moment, even the most difficult ones. The film itself was remarkable in many ways. It won both the Audience Award and the Grand Jury Prize at the Sundance Film Festival. At the Cannes Film Festival, it received the Prix de l'Avenir d'un certain regard. Director Ryan Coogler won several critics' awards leading up to the Oscars. All of this attention suggested the Academy would take notice. But when Oscar nominations were announced, Fruitvale Station was completely shut out. Spencer received no recognition despite delivering one of the year's most moving performances. Her co-star Michael Bakari Jordan was also overlooked, even though he gave an equally impressive performance as Oscar. 15. Ava DuVernay.
As long as I am unable to exercise my constitutional right to vote, I do not have command of my own life. I cannot determine my own destiny.
Ava DuVernay's direction of Selma was masterful filmmaking that brought historical events to life in a way that felt both accurate and emotionally engaging. The film told the story of the voting rights marches from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, focusing on the leadership of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the ordinary people who risked everything for civil rights. DuVernay managed to make a historical film that never felt like a history lesson. Instead, it felt immediate and urgent, as if the events were happening right before the audience's eyes. She balanced the political aspects of the story with the personal costs that the civil rights workers paid for their activism. The direction was subtle and powerful. DuVernay knew when to let the camera linger on important moments and when to pull back to show the bigger picture. She created scenes that were both beautiful and heartbreaking, particularly the sequences showing the violence that peaceful protesters faced. Working with a talented cast, DuVernay helped create performances that felt natural and unforced. The historical figures came across as real people rather than monuments, which made their courage and sacrifice even more impressive. She showed both their strength and their human vulnerability. If DuVernay had received a Best Director nomination for Selma, she would have made history as the first black woman ever nominated in that category. The fact that this milestone still hasn't been reached shows how much work the film industry still has to do in recognizing diverse talent. 16. Cicely Tyson.
Shame that I would have to be known as the most foremost black actress of our time.
Cicely. Tyson's performance in Sounder was a masterclass in understated acting that showed the strength and dignity of a woman facing impossible circumstances. Playing Rebecca Morgan, the wife of a sharecropper during the Great Depression, Tyson brought depth and humanity to a role that could have easily become a stereotype. The film told the story of an African-American family struggling to survive during one of the most difficult periods in American history. Tyson's character had to hold the family together when her husband was imprisoned for stealing food to feed their children. She showed a mother's determination and a wife's loyalty without ever making the character seem like a saint. Tyson made Rebecca feel completely real and relatable. She showed the character's strength without hiding her fears and worries. The performance required her to age throughout the film and to show how hardship could wear someone down while also revealing their inner toughness. The role demanded both physical and emotional acting. Tyson had to show the toll that poverty and hard labor took on Rebecca's body, while also revealing the character's unbroken spirit. She made audiences feel the weight of Rebecca's responsibilities and admire her refusal to give up. Sounder received multiple Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, Best Actor for Paul Winfield, and Best Actress for Tyson. The film was both a critical and commercial success, showing that audiences were hungry for stories about black families and their experiences. However, when Oscar night arrived, Tyson lost to Liza Minnelli for Cabaret. While Minnelli certainly gave an energetic performance in a very different kind of role, many people felt that Tyson's subtle, powerful work in Sounder was more deserving of recognition. 17. Diahann Carroll.
Being black is not a problem for a black person. Being black is a problem for the community that doesn't understand that you are a human being.
Diahann Carroll was a performer of exceptional talent who faced barriers that had nothing to do with her abilities as an actress and singer. Throughout her career, she lost out on film opportunities to white actresses, even when she was equally or more qualified for the roles. Carroll had the triple threat combination of acting, singing, and dancing skills that should have made her a major movie star. She was beautiful, charismatic, and professionally trained in all the skills that Hollywood musicals and dramas required. Her voice was distinctive and powerful, perfect for the big screen. But the film industry of her era often passed her over in favor of white actresses who didn't necessarily have her level of talent. Studios were hesitant to cast black actresses in leading roles, worried about how audiences in certain parts of the country might react. This meant that Carroll had to work twice as hard for half the opportunities. She found success on Broadway and later on television, but her film career never reached the heights that her talent deserved. She was often relegated to smaller roles that didn't showcase her full range of abilities. Carroll did make her mark in other areas of entertainment. She was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress for her role in Claudine, becoming only the fourth black woman ever nominated in that category at the time. She also broke ground on television with her series, Julia. 18. Sammy Davis, Jr.
Don't you worry, Sandman. You gonna dance with me.
Sammy Davis Jr. was one of the most talented entertainers of his generation, with skills in singing, dancing, acting, and comedy that few performers could match. He was part of the famous Rat Pack and performed alongside some of the biggest stars of his era. Yet his film career never fully reflected his enormous talents. Davis was often denied starring roles in musicals, the very genre where his abilities should have made him a natural choice. Instead, studios frequently cast white actors who then had to work hard to approximate the singing and dancing skills that Davis possessed naturally. His dancing was electric and innovative, combining elements of tap, jazz, and other styles in ways that influenced generations of performers. His singing voice was distinctive and emotionally powerful, capable of handling everything from jazz standards to pop hits. These skills should have made him a major movie musical star. But the entertainment industry of his era had strict limitations on how black performers could be used in major films. Davis often found himself cast in supporting roles or guest appearances rather than as the leading man his talents warranted. When he did get opportunities to show what he could do on film, Davis was impressive. His performances in movies like Robin and The Seven Hoods showed glimpses of what might have been if he had gotten more substantial roles throughout his career. The irony was that white performers were often trying to capture the style and energy that Davis brought naturally to his performances. He was frequently the real thing that others were imitating, yet he wasn't given the starring roles in the musicals that his skills had helped inspire. 19. Thandie Newton.
Oh, bloody hell. You're a spy! Well, if you want me, you gotta catch me!
Thandie Newton has faced challenges throughout her career that had more to do with Hollywood's narrow beauty standards than her considerable acting abilities. Despite her talent and training, she lost major roles to white actresses because studios wanted what they called less ethnic looks. Newton brought intelligence, beauty, and strong acting skills to every role she took on. She was equally comfortable in dramas, comedies, and action films, showing impressive range as a performer. Her education at Cambridge University and her natural intelligence showed in her thoughtful approach to her characters. But in an industry that often had very specific and limiting ideas about how leading ladies should look, Newton faced obstacles that white actresses with similar or lesser talents didn't encounter. Casting directors and studio executives made decisions based on outdated ideas about what audiences would accept. This meant that Newton often had to work harder to get roles that should have been within easy reach for someone with her abilities. She found herself competing not just on talent, but against narrow-minded perceptions about ethnicity and marketability. When she did get good roles, Newton consistently delivered strong performances that proved the short-sightedness of the decisions that had excluded her from other projects. Her work showed that talent and screen presence matter more than fitting into limiting categories. 20. Whoopi Goldberg.
Try to be a little less harsh tonight.
I am not harsh. I'm genteel.
Whoopi Goldberg's performance in The Color Purple was one of the most powerful debuts in film history. Playing Celie, a woman who endures years of abuse before finding her voice and her strength, Goldberg delivered acting that was both heartbreaking and inspiring. The role required enormous emotional range and courage. Goldberg had to show Celie's journey from a frightened, beaten-down girl to a confident woman who learns to stand up for herself. She made every stage of this transformation believable and moving. Goldberg brought both vulnerability and strength to the character. In the early scenes, she showed Celie's fear and pain without making her seem weak. As the character grew stronger, Goldberg revealed the dignity and intelligence that had always been there, just waiting for the chance to emerge. The performance was particularly impressive because it was Goldberg's film debut. She had come from stand-up comedy and stage work, but she proved she could handle serious dramatic material with skill and sensitivity. Her natural charisma translated perfectly to the big screen. Despite the power of her performance and the film's multiple Oscar nominations, Goldberg didn't win Best Actress. The award went to Geraldine Page for The Trip to Bountiful. While Page was a respected actress giving her final performance, many people felt that Goldberg's breakthrough work was more deserving. Goldberg did eventually win an Oscar, but it was for Best Supporting Actress for Ghost, a much lighter role that didn't require nearly the same level of dramatic skill she showed in The Color Purple. Many people saw this as a consolation prize rather than recognition for her best work. Did your favorite make it to the list? Let us know who we left out.